Welcome back to the JCPod, partner with Stand On Sports. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Parnell, and man, yep, your boy's still hurt, as you can tell. I don't got a chair, man, so this is going to be an interesting episode today. Probably going to be standing for most of it, so we'll see if I actually go for a full hour. I don't know. There's a good amount to talk about, though, so, man. Sucks I couldn't come on Monday, because I did want to come on Monday to talk about the Divisional Round, but like I said, when you have hernia surgery Friday, kind of delays it a little bit, but the good news is your boy's feeling a little bit better, feeling more like himself. So hopefully within the next like week or two, I'll be back to full normal. But as for the meantime, I still can't sit in a chair, so we're gonna be standing. I'm good enough to get on, so I'm very excited. Just needed that extra day to heal, because I won't lie, I woke up, felt pretty great today. But like I said, we ain't here to talk about me, man. I don't think everybody, maybe a few people came in to check in on me. Appreciate you people, but for the most part, now I'm just going to deal with a little bit of a cropped head, and we're here to talk football, man. So we had the Divisional Round happen, had the College Football National Championship happen. Shout out to them Buckeyes. But, man, what better way to hop into it than right now? So, we're pretty much going to go over the NFL Divisional Round. We'll go over some College Football National Championship. We'll start off with that. Then the NFL Divisional Round. Then we'll probably just talk some NFL news to end it out. And then, man, college football season's over, so without any further ado, let's talk that national championship, baby. Man, started with 12, come down to 1. That's how you crown a national champion. And officially, shout out to Ohio State Buckeyes, man. They win, 31-23? It wasn't, first half was pretty much 28-7. Looked like it was going to be a boat race. So I do give the Notre Dame Fighting Irish credit for that, as they did fight back. They did make it competitive. It's just frustrating because you watch a game like that, and it's like, man, where is this in the first half? But then you also could play the card of, well, Ohio State let off the gas and everything, which, yeah, they could have. But I think that just goes to show Notre Dame's resiliency, is that they'll fight back. Because that's any other team. Like, no offense to TCU, Georgia. That's like TCU. I know that's a completely different matchup, by the way, though. But like TCU, Georgia, that's probably just a continued boat race. Ohio State, Michigan, Washington, scores like that, probably a continued boat race. But I'm really proud of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish for fighting back. Because, like I said, that was, you go down 21-7 in the half. Then opening drive, they score again, and then you fail fourth down conversion. Then they get a field goal. Maybe that wasn't the exact order, but basically you let them score again. It's just like, man, you could have given up at any point, and they didn't. So I truly believe in Riley Leonard for that. But man, you want to talk about Will Howard, dude? Will Howard and the offensive line for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I know the defense played good. My MVP for that game, the offensive line and Will Howard. Mainly the offensive line too, because especially. If you watch Will Howard throw, I refuse to go and watch back the highlights, because I know what I'm going to see. I'm going to see an empty pocket, especially up until the fourth quarter. I'm going to see an empty pocket. I'm going to just see Will Howard basically going to make whatever read he wanted. They dominated them up front, and that was the biggest issue. When Notre Dame's missing like 2 or 3 of their biggest defensive linemen, and that's going to kill you. No, don't get me wrong, especially when Ohio State has guys like that. Going to kill you. Overall, though, like I said, Will Howard had an amazing game. Shout out to him. Quinshawn Judkins, great game from him. Trevion Henderson, good game from him. Jeremiah Smith, game-winning pass. He just routed up that boy. Feel bad that he was left in one-on-one, but that's one of those situations where people are like, why'd they do that? The blitz gets home. Will Howard doesn't have time to get the ball. He even left a moon ball, too. If there's, truly that ball, I don't want to say it was a perfect ball, because even Will Howard admitted I could have got to him a little bit quicker, but if he's like a half second to full second slower maybe on that ball, DB catches up, able to swat it away. Maybe it's a not roughing the passer, but a pass interference, because the DB ends up running into him. But timing's everything. They were able to protect him just enough to where that play ends up getting off. So, like I said, shout out to Ohio State Buckeyes, because that was a dominant national championship. I think they said, I saw a stat on X, that this is now the 7th or 8th national championship in a row where we have a national championship with double digits. And you looking at some of the scores, it's like, oh my God, these are runaways. So my biggest takeaway from all this is we can't, they said this on the Pat McAfee show, I kind of agree with it, we can't have college football national championship running in with the NFL playoffs, especially this deep into the NFL playoffs, because when you have games like you had on Saturday and Sunday, which we'll be talking about here in a minute, and then you have this game Monday, which first quarter is just like, or first half of shooting was like, all right, I'm ready to go home now. I'm ready, can I go to bed early tonight? When you have situations like that, it's a little bit rough, but I want to say shout out to Notre Dame Fighting Irish. That's a team I definitely think can get back, and I'm fully back in on Marcus Freeman, man. He didn't like his field goal call that late when you're down 16. Didn't mind the fourth down conversion that they miss. It was kind of obvious they were going for it there, but the play worked. The guy just needs to catch the ball. But I liked it. Overall, I'm very just proud of what Notre Dame was able to put together. Especially after losing to NIU. Most years that season's over, the boys are just done, and they can lose another 2 games because they really don't care. But because of this, this is the one thing I like about the college football playoffs is because of that, the boys were able to rally because they're like, hey, we can still play for something bigger. And they go on that amazing run, get to the national championship, just ran into a better team. I'll be honest, Ohio State was a better team. And I don't think any of us are dumb to say that because without how good of a roster they had and all that, I mean, I'm not going to say they were expected to win the national championship, but when they were the co-favorites with Georgia at the beginning of the year, kind of were expected to win it. So it's awesome mainly for Ryan Day, man, truly. To deal with all the Michigan drama and all. I mean, you could see the relief in his face. So, I mean, that's a sports guy. Nothing's better than that. All the adversity, because, like, we love adversity around here in sports. So just watching them deal with all that adversity and everything. And then you get to watch Ryan Day just get to celebrate with the guys, that scream of relief. And he's probably recruiting back today because that's just the life of a college football head coach. But, man, that Ohio State team, shouts to them, man. That was truly awesome. It's magical season, man. And, hey, Big Ten country. Represent, baby. I don't think I really have too much more to touch on the national championship. It was such a big runaway at the beginning that it's like Notre Dame basically played catch-up for the whole game, which wasn't their game. A lot of props were killed in the game. I think betting-wise, we didn't do too bad. Saddest thing, I think, for me, though, Notre Dame plus 8.5 was covering until that Jeremiah Smith play, and then Riley Leonard over half a passing touchdown with Notre Dame plus 10.5. What do we say around here? That hook a motherfucker? Lose by 11. Tough. You hate to see that. Now, I'll admit, not the best college football season for us. It basically just, honestly, it wasn't even too bad. I lied. I haven't checked the national championship stats yet, so we'll get into that. But overall, I thought it was a great college football season betting for us, other than Nasty Boys. That's what I was going to say. So college football Nasty Boys, we went 1-19. We lost like $55. But when you bet 15 a week, we're up 500 on the NFL, so it kind of bounces out if you've been taking those all week. But man, that little college football playoff run bowl season, I mean, 20-10 for the bowl season. I'm not going to complain about it at all. College football player props, we went 28-24, like I said, without counting the other ones. I mean, it wasn't a bad season at all. Really, really awesome season. I just wish I hit a few more Nasty Boys overall. And then, man, just wish my Notre Dame Fighting Irish could have ended out on top because they did. I mean, that would have been an all-timer. But like I said, shout out to the Ohio State Buckeyes. And we will be moving on now to talk about the NFL Divisional Round. Because like I said, college football season's over. I will probably recap some of the bigger news. I will probably do that next week because after next week we have the championship games this week in the NFL. Next week we got a little bit of a dead period while we wait for the Super Bowl. So I think that'll be probably a really good time to talk about that. So without any further ado, I think we're ready to talk about some divisional round playoffs. There's some big NFL news to talk about, like Ben Johnson becoming the coach. I think we'll save that for after the playoffs because that's more of next season talk. I think we'll do that because there is some good news I want to get into and talk about. I don't know why I said what the action I was doing. No, but so we're going to talk, like I said, NFL Divisional. We'll start off with the Chiefs, Texans. Chiefs win 23-14. Never a doubt they would cover. You want to talk about that hook being an MFR. People were talking about, like, man, the Chiefs didn't cover. This is so rigged, blah, blah. It's like that. The game was 8.5 for the whole week until right before kickoff. So that just goes to show you that the people who bet very, very last minute kind of got boned a little bit. So that's always why around here I try to give out my bets a little bit earlier because I'm not telling everybody to take them early because there's time we take them early and then the line moves like 4 points and you're like, well, shit, we really messed that one up. But it's in situations like this that make me grateful that I've started to bet a little bit earlier more because, yeah, like I said, when a punter runs out of the back of the end zone to go from, 11-point cover to now it's 9 all of a sudden, or was that? Yeah, 11-point cover to a 9-point cover. It's like, didn't have that one in the cards. But, man, this was a really, really weird game for the Texans because it felt like, I'll admit, as a Chiefs guy, watching them play on offense, I mean, I think they got a field goal opening drive pretty much because they had an amazing kick return that took them right down to the 30, so they get a field goal. Houston answers right back with a field goal themselves, and Chiefs get a field goal later, followed by a Kareem Hunt touchdown. Then the Houston Texans get another field goal. So at that point, it's, 13-6 at half. Third quarter, Joe Mixon scores, and then that's about where, when Joe Mixon scores in the third quarter, put them up, I believe, or no, it's 12-13, right? Yeah, 12-13. At the point, you're sitting there, and I'm waiting for the Texans to take this game over. Because it's like, I'll admit, I was getting pissed because, sorry about that, I thought that was some important news, but I was getting pissed there as a Chiefs fan because I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, this offense sucks. They're actually going to lose this game, which goes to show you that the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. They find a way to win. I'll read the stat out about the Texans. It was crazy. Sorry about that. Kind of lost train of thought. I got sidetracked by something. But yeah, overall, I just you're sitting there and you're watching the Chiefs, and you're just like, man, when are they gonna come back in this game? Because they just looked all bad, and then all of a sudden, just turned it on. Travis Kelce's able to score a touchdown for them. They end up, like I said, there's a safety, that dumb safety at the end, but the defense balled out. That's I'm not gonna say the refs won in the game. I'll admit there were some pretty bad calls though. There was the one where Mahomes was like kind of running around, then he dove late and hit. I was even like, what the hell? That's a flag. And then you watch it again, it's like, not really. Because I'll admit, first watch, I'm like, damn, they kind of hit him in the head a little bit. Which, hey, when you're running around like that being stupid, there's that risk. But then you watch and it's like, oh, they really didn't hit him. They threw the flag. My biggest thing is we just need to change the rules, man, because it puts the refs in a horrible spot, and we know how it's going to go, man. They're going to favor Mahomes. So if Mahomes is anywhere close into a play like that, they're gonna throw that thing. So we just need to fix the rules about running quarterbacks and everything. And honestly, I wish defenders would light them up a little bit more as a defender myself. Because it's like, man, if quarterback's going to be this stupid and he's going to play games like this, it's like, just crack him at least one time. Take 15 yards at least one time and just drill him so that way you know, like, hey, I'm willing to do this again, man. Or at least make him earn those yards. But that's the part with me. I'm just frustrated with the rule because I think it's kind of just messing up the game a little bit. Because it's like, I'll admit, I mean, that went from them basically getting a third down stop to, all right, here's another first down. All right, here's another first down. So it's just, that part I could get. That is really frustrating. But I thought the defensively, I mean, the Chiefs just ended up dominating that second half. I mean, they were just, George Karlaftis, I think, finished with 3 sacks. Chris Jones, I think, might have had 2 himself. I mean, they were just left and right just sacking all over the Texans. And let's be honest, we knew the Chiefs were going to win that game. It's just one of those things where it's like, man, they probably won it a little bit uglier than they should have. I mean, they probably should have won by a little bit more. But the fact they didn't, I mean, they just find ways to win. And I don't know, after watching a few of these other AFC games, it's like, ugh. Chiefs are probably going to do it again, aren't they? And then especially after NFC, when we talk about some of the teams that lost, it's like, man, the Chiefs are really about to do it again, aren't they? But like I said, shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs are able to win. Shout out to the Houston Texans for representing again. AFC South gets another playoff win. Let's get it. Yeah, just good. I'm not going to say a great win by the Chiefs, but any playoff win's a great win, let's be honest. So that was a great win for them. Like I said, biggest takeaway from the game, defense balled out. Offense needs to wake up a little bit. That was a little bit scary. I mean, Travis Kelce was able to get his when they needed him to, but there was a few plays where, like, if Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, since we haven't talked about the game, no, I'm just kidding. If Josh Allen, though, was able to put drives together and not stall out, I mean, if they play like that, Chiefs actually will get beat. But, yeah, man, shout out to Texans for real. Not a bad season at all. For how shaky got towards the end, I mean, they really were able to make some stuff happen. I didn't expect them to beat the Chargers like they did, so shout out to them for being able to do that. Moving on, though, like I said, we'll talk about the other game that night, which I believe was the Commanders and the Lions. Yeah, that game, next game. Commanders, 45. Lions, 31. I mean, shit, boy. Them Commanders, man. Jaden Daniels, man. Wow. I mean, wow. Like, all seriousness aside, the kid's special. In the great words of my boy, Ron Donahue, the red beard. The kid's special. I mean, wow. Jaden Daniels is truly balling out. Speechless, man. The defense ends up getting a touchdown earlier, too, and Jared Goff seemingly gets concussed. But biggest thing, I mean, that defense forced some takeaways, which was, Commanders defense, which was insane. Because that was a game where it's like, yeah, you'll probably see a little. I thought it'd be pretty high scoring, but I'll admit, I didn't expect it to be that high scoring. And then you get a defensive touchdown like that from the Commanders, like from their defense. It's like, especially the way they're playing, it's like, oh, this game's over. Because the way you want to talk about. This was kind of like the teaser to the Ohio State Notre Dame game, where one side just couldn't stop the other team's offense, and then later on they're playing catch up the whole game, trying to get it close, and then you basically got to play perfect, which. When your quarterback throws, I think, 2 or 3 picks, what Jared Goff did, kind of screws them. So, yeah. Like I said, so it starts off, though. Jahmyr Gibbs gets a rushing touchdown. Line goes up 7-0 early, and then Zane Gonzalez. It's 7-3 in the first quarter. So you're sitting there, it's like, all right, this is going to be a good little battle and everything. And then the fireworks happen. Ryan Robinson gets a rushing touchdown. Laporta gets a touchdown. Terry McLaurin gets a touchdown. And then the pick 6 happens. Jameson Williams gets a 61-yard touchdown and end around while Jared Goff's getting checked out in the tent. I mean, then you get a Zach Ertz touchdown with a minute left. Third quarter, Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown. Fourth quarter, Brian Robinson touchdown. Jeremy McNichols touchdown, and then Jake Bates kicks a field goal with 5:04 left. That'd be the last score. I mean, it's basically from the 6:33 mark to the 1:49 mark in the second quarter. I mean, that's basically where the Commanders won the game. You get what is that? 4 touchdowns to the Lions 2, and then you get answered with 2 more touchdowns in the fourth quarter to the Lions only 1 in the third quarter. I mean, that was just a masterclass of a game by Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury and the Commanders' offense. I mean, I don't think the Lions stopped them on a single drive. I don't remember the punter coming out in the field. I mean, it literally felt like every time Jaden Daniels got the ball that game, it's like they're getting points somehow. And that was an amazing live game if you're able to live bet some touchdown props because, I mean, everyone in that mama was scoring, it felt like. I mean, it was crazy. I just sitting here watching, like, I was sitting here at home, like, this is a game, man. And it was just an awesome game. It just sucks for the Lions because that basically what that tells us is the defensive injuries caught up to them because, I mean, they gave up 45 points, and it doesn't matter till it matters. And I was talking with my boy Rowan last night. And we kind of made a little bit of a joke. I said the NFC felt like the neutral floss conference, where you look across the board and it feels like something always cancels something out. So you look at the Commanders, for example. It's like, okay, rookie quarterback that's coming into the playoffs. Is he going to continue to keep playing this great? And then you look at the Lions. It's like, but their defense is so banged up that it's like that might actually be an issue. And we talked about it on my show. I said, man, after watching the way Sam Darnold played against the Rams, it's like maybe the Lions' defense really wasn't that improved. Like maybe they played a good game, but maybe that was more of a Sam Darnold thing. And after a game like this, when the Commanders put up 45 points, it might have been a Sam Darnold thing because, man, that defense, they couldn't get a stop, man. And it just sucks because it goes to show, like, I mean, the injuries just end up adding up. You can't have injuries like that happen because, like I said, when too many of your defenders get injured at a certain point, it's like it's going to matter, especially when the better offense, the deeper you get into the playoffs. And that's basically what got. And like I said, shout out to the Commanders. That was an amazing win by them. And truly, honestly, I don't think I have too much more to take away from this game other than the fact that the Commanders played probably one of the best games they've played all season. And the Lions, the injuries finally caught up to them. Jared Goff, I think, like I said, had 2 or 3 picks. So that kind of, when your quarterback has a game like that, it's going to hurt you. Not only did it hurt them, I mean, they dropped 31 still. I mean, the fault lies on the defense. And there's all the jokes going around like Ben Johnson preparing for the Bears, this and that. I mean, it just sucks for the Lions because the last 2 seasons were probably their best 2 chances to win the Super Bowl with the guys they got. So now it's a question of, can you flip over the coordinators now? And will flipping over the coordinators do something? Because I think that there's a stat that when a team loses both their coordinators, they never end up winning the Super Bowl the next year. I don't know if it's winning it or making it, but I don't even think they'd make it. I think that's the stat. So tough loss, like I said, for the Lions because them and the Vikings too, after having a magical season, they battle out in Week 18, both lose their very next game. That's tough, man. Super, super tough. Just feel bad. I do feel bad for the Lions a little bit because, man, had the magical season, had everything go their way, and they just couldn't get over the hump. But we don't feel bad. It's okay. They're okay. I mean, I'm a Colts fan. At least you guys got that. But shout out to Jaden Daniels for real. Jaden Daniels for real, man. That kid, he's a baller, man. The kid won me a fantasy championship, and I've got to watch him all season, man. He's truly special, and when it comes to the VR headset that he wears, I'm assuming that a lot more people are going to start using that because it truly seems to have helped them develop between going from Arizona State to LSU and then from LSU to the NFL. Like, this is a quarterback, recency bias all aside, Andrew Luck, in my opinion, is still the best rookie of all time. I know I'm a Colts fan, but I don't think people truly realize how bad some of those Colts teams really were that he was leading, and I get don't get me wrong. Like I said, I love Jaden Daniels and everything. He's up there with Luck, I think, as well. And it just goes to show you like how much the kid has been putting in effort as well. Because you don't just magically become a great quarterback in the NFL. We've seen it time and time again with guys coming in and this guy sucks. Seems like all these kids are playing a lot of games in the college football. I love that this is turning too. That these kids that are playing 4 or 5 years in college football, now all of a sudden instead of being turned to island, like, man, these kids have no talent. They can't play. They've been in college for 5 years. Now it's like, maybe all this is valuable. Now we're getting guys who are ready to play in the NFL, like Jaden Daniels. So that leads us into Sunday, man. So we got the Rams-Eagles. I think that's the next game. Saquon versus the Rams. Saquon, man. Oh, my goodness. 26 carries, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. Both of them, I think one was a 60-yarder, one was a 70-yarder, or 50-yarder, 70-yarder, something like that. Oh, my goodness, people. My goodness. Jalen Hurts finishes 15 or 20 for 120. If you go back and look at, by the way, final score is 28-22. Rams made it a little bit closer at the end. But yeah, if you look at the hook of motherfucker, another game where the hook got us. If you got that 5.5, that was clutch. 6.5 for the Eagles. You hate to see it, but that was another game where crazy game, dude. You're just watching it throughout, and you're just like, you look at Jalen, especially before I even get to that, Jalen Hurts' playoff history. Whoa. You look at his pass yards and everything, it's like, man, this dude's throwing for like 140 yards a game, and they're winning like most of these games. It's just absolutely crazy. It just goes to show that, like, hey, there's many ways to win a game. Sometimes you don't have to just throw for all these damn yards. But I will say it would be a lot more fun if you threw for like 250 yards every game. But they're winning, so I'm not going to judge. I'm just going to let them keep doing their thing. But like I said, this was an awesome game for Saquon Barkley. This is basically like, this is what they saved him for. Let's be real. This was just so fun, though. I mean, 200 yards on the ground. I mean, he was just all over this. It just makes you, as a Giants fan, you probably just hating yourself like, man, why couldn't we do this for Saquon? Because it's awesome now he has an offensive line, he has a good offense, and now he's just absolutely dominating. Biggest takeaway from the game, I think, though, I don't know, I just thought this was a good football game, man. The weather definitely played a factor late as the ball got a little bit slippery, so turnovers were huge for the Rams, especially because Matt Stafford lost a few. But defensively, I thought the Rams did a really good job, I thought the Eagles did a really good job defensively, I thought, until basically the Rams started running no huddle really late in the fourth. I was shocked they didn't do it more, but I guess that hindsight's 20/20, obviously. But when they started running no huddle in the fourth, it really was messing up with the Eagles' flow and everything. So that's something I'm really, we'll talk about it tomorrow when we go over best bets for the championship rounds. The Commanders run no huddle a lot. So the way that defense was looking, they were looking a little bit tired on some of those later drives when the Rams were running no huddle. So I'm very, very curious to see how the Commanders are going to be able to take over that versus the Eagles. Because I think other than that, I think the Eagles played a pretty good game. A.J. Brown had a drop touchdown in the end zone, which really sucks for us who bet him. But no, overall. Also, shout out my boy Brant, by the way. Gave me, I think, his second or third drive Saquon touchdown. Man, sometimes you just know, right? But no, overall, like I said, though, I thought that was a great win by the Eagles. Really nothing I can take away from this game because I kind of thought, Rams backdoor cover, the Eagles win by double digits. I thought it was a pretty good game by them. They had a few. Jake Elliott's going to basically be my only fear for them now because he's missing a few kicks, people, and that is starting to become. He's literally the reason the game didn't cover is because he missed a PAT. I think he missed 2 PATs, I thought. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think I saw that he missed 2 PATs. Let me check that stat because, yeah, that's going to become a big issue for them. It's the kicking game because if he's going to struggle like this, because I thought he was solid for most of the game, and then, yeah, he misses 2 PATs. I haven't even looked it up fully yet, but he 1 for 3 next point. Yeah, so he did miss 2 PATs, so he literally lost us a cover with that. But yeah, when you see when that happens, you're kind of like, that's concerning because at first it wasn't biting them in the butt, and then it literally was going to be coming down to where, man, if the Eagles don't get a first down, the Rams would come down and win this game because they missed 2 extra points. So that's going to be my biggest key when I'm looking forward to basically this Eagles-Rams game. And then the final game, we're going to go to the Bills-Ravens. Wow. Also, sorry for these breakdowns being a little bit shorter. Like I said, I'm recovering from surgery, so I'm not going to lie to you guys. I just had surgery last Friday. I'm not even a week out, so it does still hurt a little bit, but I at least wanted to get back on and give my tidbits for all these games. So I'm not just going to leave the people in the dark. So I apologize if these aren't as long as they normally would be, but I'm hoping, like I said, at least for the Super Bowl next week or week off, I'm hoping for the following week for the Super Bowl that I'm a lot better to where we can have the longer episodes to talk about all this. But yeah, like I said, Bills-Ravens. Wow. What a banger. This honestly was a pretty fun game to watch. Overall, though, man, it's just, you want to talk about some heartbreak for the Baltimore Ravens, man. 25-27 finale. Quarterback play, Josh Allen 16 for 22, 127. He basically did the same thing. I just talked about Jalen Hurts, which is funny. His history is obviously a little bit different, but it's just funny how you can have these games where quarterbacks throw for 120 yards, but they drop 30 points and they win. It's like, hey, sometimes the ground game, pounding that rock just works just as well, people. You know how I was always one of those Madden players that run that rock, milk that clock. I love pounding the rock, honestly. Especially as a former defensive lineman, nothing is more infuriating than not being able to stop the run because it's like, I want to pass rush. I want to get after the quarterback. And hard to get after the quarterback when you just nonstop are dealing with, or you get the quarterback draw. Because this was comparative, like I said, to the Notre Dame game where in the first drive, Riley Leonard ran all over the Ohio State Buckeyes. Josh Allen running all over these damn Ravens, people. But the game started off with a Rashad Bateman touchdown, followed by a Ray Davis touchdown, which was funny because it was like James Cook's run gets stuffed. James Cook run gets stuffed. Put in Ray Davis. Ray Davis touchdown. So I know anybody who bet a James Cook touchdown that game is probably pretty pissed. But then that led to a Josh Allen rushing touchdown. Then you get a field goal by the Ravens. Josh Allen, another rushing touchdown. Field goal by the Ravens. And Derrick Henry's able to get a touchdown late in the third. 2 field goals by Tyler Bass makes it 27, whatever the score was, like 19. Whatever that is. So it's to this point now because I think the Ravens either got or failed a 2-point conversion. So it comes to the point, Lamar Jackson's driving down the field. They score with like a minute 14 left. So you're sitting there. It's like, I don't know, man. This feels like a little bit too much time for Josh Allen anyway. But they're going for 2, and yeah. I don't need to talk about it. I think everyone's seen it on X. Mark Andrews drops a 2-point play. A lot of people compare it to the Steelers play that happened a few years ago. That's just an absolutely heartbreaking play for a guy who's, I'm not going to say a staple of their team, but he's one of the bigger names in their team. He's been there for a while. That's just a heartbreaking way to end the game, man. They dropped the 2-point conversion. That's game. I mean, we had a chance to go to overtime, but if Josh Allen drives down the field for a field goal, we don't know. The Ravens defense could have got a stop, fumble 6. We'll never know. Mark Andrews dropped the ball, and that is the game. And that's the Ravens season. I mean, that's just that's what the most frustrating part about football is you can do everything right, come back all the way right. You can do all this stuff all season long. Putting in those hours, getting in at 5 a.m. in May when it doesn't matter. Come still 5 a.m. June, 5 a.m. July, coming in all these early days, and you can drop one pass and your season's over. Now, like I said, Mark Andrews dropping that pass. I mean, if the Ravens were able to get a stop earlier in the game, maybe hold them to less points, and it doesn't matter. But at the same time, that's one that probably should have been caught by Mark Andrews. That's one himself. He probably would come out and be like, I got to catch those. It has to be a ball that's caught. Just frustrating, man, if you're a Ravens fan, because you just look at that, it's like, oh, come on. Because you can't really blame Lamar. Lamar had a great game, I thought, overall. He played pretty well. Lamar had a good game. Let me take that back. He had some dumb turnovers I didn't like. He had a fumble that you have to protect the ball there. The fumble where he's basically like kind of running around. You can see it because he starts to tuck it. And then right away, like for a quick second, he tries to get back into the passing position. Second he did that, it's like, oh, come on, man. Then swipe. Ball's theirs. Mark Andrews had a pretty bad fumble cutting. People were like, why didn't you run towards the end zone? You aren't Tyreek Hill juking. I mean, when the weather's that bad and people are slipping and sliding, I mean, you saw, was it Taylor Rapp? I forget which safety it was for the Bills, but I mean, dude went to dive for a ball full speed, and he slid like a good 10 yards. I mean, like, I don't blame him too much for juking, but getting the ball punched out there, and that was killer. And then you have the drop in the red zone. Lamar, I mean, had a really horrible pick early in the game where he just overthrew a guy completely. I mean, you can look at all these points. You point out different points where it's like, nip that in the bud, you're probably good. Nip that in the bud, you're probably good. It's just frustrating because when it comes down to the game and you score a touchdown, all you need is a 2-point to tie it, and then the guy drops the ball. That's all a lot of people are going to remember. And then especially when that same guy fumbled a little bit earlier, a lot of people are just going to be like, it's that guy's fault. But overall, I mean, just goes to show you football's a team sport. Because what if Derrick Henry's able to break off one of those runs he gets just barely shoestring tackled on? Game's completely different. But like I said, we don't play around with ifs and buts around here. We'll speculate on them a little bit, but we don't need to. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills, and we get it again for the 4th straight year in a row. Chiefs, Bills. That's gonna be a fun one. We'll do some look aheads here in a minute after we talk some NFL news, and then like I said, tomorrow's gonna be the big best bets. Kind of just probably a semi-quickish episode because basically I won't lie to you. I'll probably just open up one of the sports books and I'll just start reading out props because we only got 2 games to talk about. It's gonna be. I could probably talk about it for an hour, but I'll probably end up saying a lot of the same stuff. So probably just honestly just open up a sports book and just scroll. I kind of like this, move on, passing props. I don't mind this. Probably just basically talk over for that. And then, like I said, the staredownsports.com. Would love if you guys would check that out. When I have an article fully placed, we'll give out the official bets. Like, I'll give you all my lanes and everything on here. So there'll probably be like 5 or 6 bets that I don't place. But I'm like, hey, I probably like this that maybe I didn't give them out, but keep them for myself because, hey, people, sometimes you need some bets for yourself. But like I said, that's probably going to be for tomorrow because, man, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Commanders. That's going to be fun, man. It's just crazy that we're to this point now in the season. There's 3 football games left. It's truly heartbreaking. I mean, this has just been a grind of a season for a lot of these teams. It's been really fun. NFL-wide, like we said, how college betting wasn't necessarily the best when it came to the national championship. NFL, the rest of the season, though, has been pretty awesome. Like, if you followed a lot of my straights this year, we had a pretty good season, like I said. And I can't complain about it too much. NFL-wise, it's a little bit different. it was a great season overall in the NFL. Like, amazing season. Like, college football straights, 87, 71, and 1. I'm not mad about that at all. I thought that was a pretty good season. Could have had been a little bit better, like I said, though. And like I said, bowl season, we went 20 and 10. Not too bad at all. NFL straights for the regular season, 86, 65, and 1. So I had one less win, but I was able to take off like 5 or 6 losses. I'm very, very proud about myself with that. Touchdown scores were 178 and 195. Not the best record, but with me giving out a decent amount of plus money, guys, I'm pretty sure we're up in the units. The NFL player prop bets, 121 and 92. Killed the game prop-wise. I was really happy about that. And then the biggest thing I'm happy about for you people, that let's be honest, the NFL playoffs are kind of like, I think I'm like, what, 6 and 4, 9 and 13, 13 and 12, and all those stats. But the Nasty Boys, man, we are 6 and 45, which honestly sounds like a horrible record. We're up like $550, man. We were up like 700 at one point in the season. We've been on a bit of a slide, but I think I've just been really happy with how I've seen the board this year, especially because early in the year, if you remember with our Pickem record, man, we were sucking at picking money lines. And then as the season gone on, we just were able to dial it in, and it's just awesome because it's like when you get in the grind like that, you just truly forget, like, sometimes these weeks just go by and you're just like, all right, week 7, let's do it. Week 8, let's do it. Week 9, let's do it. And then all of a sudden it's AFC and NFC divisional, or AFC and NFC championship round. You're looking back like, holy hell. What a beautiful season that was, man, truly. What a beautiful season that was. But like I said, we're going to do some NFL news to end it. And then, NFL news, then some quick look-aheads at the lines to end it. Actually, we'll just look ahead now and then we'll end with some NFL news because, let's be honest, there's only 2 games. And I think I've pretty much said it like 3 or 4 times on the show. Chiefs, -1.5, -126 on the money line. Bills, +108 on the money line. You got Eagles, now up to -6.5, -280 on the money line. Commanders, +6.5. Even better. I like that 6.5 even better. I genuinely think I think that's going to be a close game. So I think that's going to be a field goal game. So I'm probably, no more spoilers, but I think you know where I'm leaning in both those games, the way we've been talking around here. But like I said, let's go over some NFL news to end it and just quickly and briefly talk about some of this, because I'll probably bring up some of this again tomorrow as well, because, man, it's the end of the season, man. It's absolutely crazy. Unreal, honestly. Unreal that we're at the end of the season, but sounds like Chargers Khalil Mack will play in 2025, which is awesome. I thought he would come out with a quote. There is no quote on this, but yeah, shout out to him. There we go. Soon-to-be 34-year-old said after the Chargers were eliminated in the wildcard round that he was going to take some time and ponder. Well, I guess he only needed 2 weeks, and that hunger came back. Really, really happy he's coming back because that's going to be huge for Harbaugh and the Chargers moving forward. Josh McDaniels is returning to the Patriots for a 3rd stint as their OC. I'm not the biggest fan of this, but with Mike Vrabel there, they're going to find ways to win games. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why McDaniels, I don't even know if he had a job last year, which might show my incompetence. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of them bringing in Josh McDaniels. Like, it's his 3rd stint. What's going to be different than the first 2 times? Their offense, I don't know. I'm not going to harp on it too much because this could be on freezing cold takes if he ends up being pretty good, but of all the coordinators get Josh McDaniels, I know he's probably with Vrabel. Vrabel knows him pretty well, but it's like, I don't know about that, man. Shout out to Ben Johnson. Sounds like he's signing for $13 million a year to go to the Bears. We're going to have to see. I don't know if the numbers officially came out just yet, but Kevin O'Connell as well signed a multi-year extension, so going to be interesting to see when the numbers come out for these guys. Because Ben Johnson is getting like $13 million. The rumor is Kevin O'Connell is going to get around $20 million. So I'd be very fascinated about those numbers, because if those happen, you know other coaches are going to go back to the negotiating table, especially guys like Andy Reid. Basically all those big-name coaches have won Super Bowls and still in places. Nick Sirianni might want to go back and renegotiate. Like, there's going to be a lot of names that are like, hey, you see how much money them boys got? I kind of want that too. But like I said, shout out to them. Shout out to Kevin O'Connell. Great season overall. Still just sucks the way they lost. We don't need to talk about that. It said Bill Ravens, Humphrey, Bills or whatever NFC team must beat the Chiefs. Here's his official tweet. I have no reason for saying this other than being a hater. The Bills or whatever NFC team gotta beat the Chiefs. We can't let them keep getting away with this. Hey, I think there's a lot of people that share that sentiment with you too, my boy. Tom Brady came out and he praised Daniel's poise and compares him to a young Tiger Woods, which is very, very high praise from Tom Brady. He's arguably, if not greatest quarterback in NFL, so getting compliments like that, pretty good. I can't blame him. Jaden Daniels looks amazing, dude. The kid's special, but he's actually pretty freaking good, man. Bills fans end up donating over $35,000 to Mark Andrews charity, which is a mix of, hey, we beat you, so here's some money, thank you. And then also, I'm sure, a mix of, like, man, we kind of feel bad for everything that's kind of going on in social media, because Mark Andrews was getting killed on social media for that drop. I mean, it killed. It was pretty bad. So, I mean, shout out to the Bills fans for always being the Bills fans, but feel bad. I do feel bad a little bit for Mark Andrews, because, like I said, that boy was getting dragged in the mud. Alvin Kamara came out and he endorsed Darren Rizzi to be the next head coach of the Saints. I'm very curious what's going to happen with that, because the more and more sounds like Aaron Glenn's going to go to the New York Jets. So I wouldn't be shocked at this point if the Saints do end up bringing back Darren Rizzi, but I don't know. I don't know if they are going to do that. So they announced the official, what is it called? Super Bowl officiating crew. There we go. LIX Super Bowl crew. You got Ron Tolbert as the referee. Umpires be Mike Morton, down judge. I think Wendell field judge, replay official Kevin Brown. Okay, I was assuming. Well, I don't know a lot of these names. I do know Ron Torbert though. I think that's a good move. I think he's one of the better ones, so I'm not too mad about that. I could be wrong though, but if I'm remembering off the top of my head, I think he is one of the better ones. So I'm happy that he's going to be the Super Bowl guy. The Cowboys to interview O.C. Schottenheimer in coaching search. It sounds like it's going to be Kellen Moore. That's going to be the next head coach for the Cowboys, which would be very, very fascinating because it sounds like Dion's probably staying in Colorado at this point, which can't really blame him. Jaguars are still looking for a head coach as well. Cooper Kupp said his future is uncertain, but he would love to remain on the Rams, which interesting because, yeah, like with the way they've been going, I mean, every year that goes by, he's probably a year closer to being traded to a contender, kind of sort of like a Keenan Allen situation. I know Keenan Allen didn't go to a contender, but starting at that point where he's a little bit older, a little bit more longer in the legs and the tooth, as people say, so you might see him. I don't know. It'll be interesting for sure because it is Stafford's boy. Awesome hire for the Colts, by the way, as they hired Lou Anarumo. Very happy about that for mainly for the fact that, like, he's going to change defenses. Gus Bradley sat in, like, cover. It felt like Gus Bradley would just sit in cover 3 the whole game and never adjust. This coach at least will adjust on defense, so I like that. People keep, like, the thing I'm mad about with people is they keep saying, like, oh, here's a terrible DC in Cincinnati. He played for a cheap owner. They let all their good defenders walk out of the building. I mean, hell, Hendricks is probably not going to be there next year because they don't want to pay him. And it kind of sounds like he's the fall guy a little bit. Because you hear a little bit in the media, a lot of people were kind of shocked that, like, why is Lou Anarumo gone and not Zach Taylor? Because personally, I can't believe Zach Taylor still has a job, honestly. Because it feels like he's basically the last man standing at this point. Because, yeah, like, I didn't think Lou did a horrible. I mean, I'm not going to act like Lou did an amazing job last year. They gave up 25 points a game. I think it ranked 26th in the NFL. But he really got, like, no help by the organization at all. So, and then it also doesn't help when you have a coordinator like Zach Taylor who throws the ball 3 downs of play and then no time comes off the clock and it's like, all right, defense, good luck. So, like I said, I thought he got put in a pretty bad spot. So I'm a little bit more optimistic. I think a lot of people are. And that might be it for all the bigger news this week. Because, yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything last week leading up to the playoffs. Nothing really. Bijan Robinson came out and thanks Barkley for making running backs look amazing. I think Saquon Barkley is putting some running backs on the map, proving like, hey, the boys deserve some money too, man. Commanders right guard Sam Cosmi has torn his ACL, so he's out for the rest of the playoffs. That's a pretty big loss for them. That kid was playing really, really good for them at guard. I'm saying kid, this dude could be 35 years old. But no, that is a pretty big loss for them. That sucks. Bears, we were there to get their head coach. We can ignore that. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much going to do it for the big news. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for the support. Really do appreciate it. Like I said, sorry for the shorter episode this week. I'm still recovering from surgery, so it's probably going to be Super Bowl week when I'm fully able to sit down, like have long breakdowns and everything. So looking forward to get back to that tomorrow. Like I said, the plan is we are going to pretty much give out my leans, early bets for AFC, NFC championship game, go over some NFL news if we missed anything. And then that's probably going to do it. That's probably going to do it because there's not too much to talk about anymore. I mean, we're basically at the end of the season. And then we're prepping for the Super Bowl, man. It's absolutely crazy. That's that time of year now. It doesn't feel real, honestly. And we'll maybe take an early lean at the Super Bowl markets tomorrow as well, depending on how long we go. But, man, truly, truly crazy that we're already at this end of the season. Thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate all the support and everything. And I'll be back in this feed tomorrow to give out my best early leans and best plays for the AFC and NFC championship games.